Hello, 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 and welcome to the Rag Company podcast. We are now separated because that's a responsible thing to do.
A little social distancing.
I'm going to try and do the intro the way I normally do, though. In the box to my right, Levi Gates.
Hey, guys.
In the box diagonal kitty corner from me, Anthony Fisher.
Hey.
And in the box below me, last but not least, Morgan McMurry.
Hey, guys.
Awesome. So we're all here. I don't know how much of a delay there is. Maybe there's just a little teensy bit of one, but it seems to be going okay. I have no idea what Anthony's doing with his camera. This is why we usually leave this up to the professionals, but we're in Rome. We uncharted territory here. So, any rate, guys, I would ask what you did for your weekend, but I suspect not a lot happened.
Well, we technically all cleaned this weekend, right? Because I cleaned my cars, got them all prepared and ready for the week, disinfected everything that I possibly could. I even took some peroxide finisher home and sprayed my countertops as well as Anthony disappeared. Countertops and all my hard surfaces in the house. Cabinetry, fridge, bathroom, countertops, everything that I possibly could find that my kids have touched and or played with. And with the peroxide finisher, I left it on the surface for 10 minutes to make sure that I could remove whatever was on there because it's a 3% peroxide mixture. So did my best to disinfect everything. And then, that was short of what I did. I did some other stuff, but what'd you guys do a little bit? We go into a little more.
Yeah. How about you, Morgan? What happened?
What did I do? Right. So I'm here trying to be responsible and taking this as an opportunity to clean some things that no one really ever wants to clean, but need to be done every once in a while.
Yeah,
so I pulled my washer and dryer forward and cleaned behind there. And there was, some lint.
There's
reconnected
stuff.
Yeah, there's always stuff. And so I reconnected the dryer hose because I think that there was a little gap. So some was getting out and going behind there. And I think one of my roommates might be one of those people that gets the lint out and then puts it behind.
Oh, that's a fire hazard. That is extremely safe.
Quite dangerous.
I used to have a homeless convict that worked for me that would do that, and he would throw the lint behind the dryer.
Oh no!
Knowing full well what would happen.
Yeah.
I finally pulled it. I saw him do it. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Mark.
Not good. So clean that out.
Good thing you did.
I know, right? I'm geez, who knows when this thing is gonna freaking blow? And then also it was really nice on Saturday. The weather was really nice. So Brandon went out to mow the lawn, and I was like, oh, might as well just hang out outside, So I started pulling weeds just kind of as I'm outside kind of thing. And then once he finished mowing the lawn, I was just I'm just going to do the whole backyard. And I literally filled an entire regular sized garbage bag with them because we're backed up to kind of a common area. But also I think there's a lot of unattended stuff out there. So a lot of the weeds get into our area. So.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. Yeah, my yard's a mess too from all the wind we've had lately.
Yeah,
so
get your
dog keeps
gardener out
trailing
there,
in.
your lawn man out there to clean all that up.
He only works up front. I work in the back.
Oh,
so.
okay.
I know, Dane. Can you give me the number to your landscaping guy because I need some trimmings done for the trees and whatnot.
Okay.
So.
His name is Luis. Very cool guy. Very nice guy. Yeah.
Of course.
I'll have to recommend him to you.
Yeah, you'll have to.
Yeah. I mean, anything else go on besides a little house cleaning?
No, I did take pictures on, I think, Saturday night because obviously, most people aren't out and about right now. So there's low traffic in a lot of places that you might not be able to take pictures before. So Brandon and I went up towards Bogus, just kind of halfway up the mountain and just pulled over and took some pictures, which was fun. So that was our escape out of the house for that day. Yeah.
Nice.
No. Go ahead.
No, Dane, you're good.
I was just going to say, a lot of people went out thinking, there'll be less traffic. There'll be less people. And there totally weren't. There were areas where it's like the super obvious spot downtown, pretty dead. But if you go anywhere to like parks or skate parks or the lake or anything, people are everywhere. It's like they don't really, maybe they take it seriously, but at the same time, it doesn't look that way.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, but I think everybody had the same idea, thinking, oh, I'll just do what no one else is doing. It'll be fine. And then next thing you know, there's 1,000 other people doing the same thing because they all thought the same. Oh, nobody will be out here. And it totally.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to see everyone like going on bike rides and going on like hikes and stuff. And I'm like, hey, like, you guys should just do that normally, because now everyone's doing it at the same time, and it's just not the best.
It is.
No,
weird.
they're doing it out of sheer like just frustration with otherwise being picked up inside. Whereas me, I'm kind of a homebody, so I'm totally fine with just like living indoors for a while. That's okay.
So Carly and I could totally do this and be homebodies. We're very well versed in this, and the MOS HQ is fully stocked with loads of ice cream novelties, as well as Diet Pepsi and Diet Mountain Dew. So dreamsicles, fudgesicles, ice cream cones with the walnuts and stuff, crumbled nuts on top, gallons of ice cream, things of all these different iced novelties can be had and enjoyed during this shelter in place in Idaho, if it gets to that. However, I have 2 young children who do not like this, do not understand, and Augie continually kept trying to go to the neighbors' houses to see what they were doing. Wanted to see if the kids could play, wanted to know what was going on. We were like, you guys aren't playing. It was, needless to say, walk out and like see a neighbor kid in my front yard. I wanted to like grab the hose and spray him to get him to shoo them off the property, but I could not do that. So
being young, does he understand the concept of a virus or something that he can't see?
Nope.
Okay.
We even found an old Yo Gabba Gabba about washing hands and why you need to wash hands so you don't get sick, and played that for them. They did not quite get it. It did, however, have the adverse effect where Hadley is now back in love with all of the Yo Gabba Gabba episodes that we used to have when she was little. So she spent the weekend vegging old Yo Gabba Gabba episodes and singing the songs and all that. But I had a car scheduled for this weekend, but he canceled. Well, he didn't cancel. He just kind of forgot. And pretty normal with this customer of mine. I went back through my log on my Facebook Messenger, and to 7 years ago when he did the same thing. He seems to forget, call me like 3 or 4 hours later and go, oh man, I totally spaced. Can we reschedule? So I said, yeah, it's fine, April 4th, which was good. So kind of freed up the weekend, which was kind of nice because I do have 2 cars scheduled for next weekend. And I kind of enjoyed the day to just chill out and not feel like I needed to do anything. But I did replace some doorknobs. So I have a storage room in the MOS HQ that my kids get into. And this last week, with them being home all week, they completely ransacked it. And it's not the safest place because there's lots of heavy totes. And they wrecked a bunch of stuff. So I went and bought a lock for the door and locked them out so they can't get in there. And then Carly also has the problem where she's like, I'd like a door that actually locked. So like our bedroom it locks, but it doesn't lock in a sense. And so
oh no, that's not gonna go
like
well.
If you jiggle it just the right way, it suddenly comes undone.
You pop the door open. And so I've tried to adjust it and do all that kind of stuff. And I thought, you know what, here's what I'm gonna do. Because even if it is locked, my kids go find quarters and nickels and dimes and unlock the door. So
it's like one of those.
Yeah. So Carly, when she's in the midst of, let's say, getting out of the bath and getting dressed, my kids are notorious when the neighbor kids are over to just all walk in on her when she's good,
naked.
Very good.
So I also bought another door lock for our bedroom that they can't get. It's just one of those pinhole locks. So I'm hoping they don't know how to get in there for at least a couple weeks. So we'll give Carly a little bit of privacy during the day while while she has to stay home with the kids because this last week was rough, and then this week is now technically spring break for Boise schools. So we'll see how they do.
It
One
might
week.
be a little longer than spring from the sounds of it.
Right, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. And then, just detailed my cars this weekend. Tried to get them all as best as I could. Like I said, make them clean. I rewrapped the hood on the Elantra.
Yeah, saw that. Looks better.
I used some 3M 1080 HD metallic black and got rid of the satin. Fun fact, the leftover glue that was on the hood of the Elantra, I was able to wipe away using G-Technic's the prep panel wipe. Wipe just super easy, wiped right off. It was really nice. So I was really impressed with that. And then
so do you think it's because the panel wipe is strong or because the glue was weak at that point?
Well, both. I think both. But, I mean, I sprayed it on, just wiped it with the towel just in sections.
Okay.
Got it all cleaned and then relayed the vinyl last night. I did one of the mirrors. That was probably my 5th try. I finally got it. And so then I went to go do the other side, and then I'd gone through 2 or 3 sections before I finally just gave up, said I'm too tired to do this for the rest of the night. So, but Anthony, I think you, like I said earlier, you should wrap the mirrors on the Honda. I got that dry carbon.
Yeah.
It's fun to just play with. Honestly, take that roll home and just play with it. Cut a couple pieces and just try to wrap and learn how to move that stuff around. It's been.
So what do you think though? You think dry carbon or black?
I've got some black metallic left over. If you'd like some, you could do.
Wait, which mirrors are we talking about? Are we talking about my Honda Grom?
You could do your Grom. You could do your Civic. You could do all the mirrors that you have.
Yeah.
You could do your B pillars. You could do dry carbon on the B pillars, like Josh's Titan.
Oh, that's true. Tasteful, yeah.
But Dane, you could do that. You could pull the vents off the Jag, and you could vinyl wrap them.
Ooh,
I mean,
now you're talking.
Could do that. They get pretty hot, but I guess that'd be fine for them. So, that space. Yeah, no, part of the reason that the plastic there faded was just from the heat that gets discharged through there anyway. So, I wonder how vinyl would do.
I think that'd be a very easy project for you to handle over a weekend.
Although you did say that the mirrors were way harder than the hood. So a small round object might be a lot more difficult than just a large, broad
And this 1080, you can heat it up. And when you heat it up, it actually sinks in to the spots.
Oh, so it'll fill in.
Supercharged or whatever on your hood.
Yeah, because I have recessed letters.
You lay it all and smooth it all down. Then you could heat it up and let it kind of lay itself into the rest of the spots. Then just rub.
I feel like dry carbon would look kind of cool on those parts, but then I'll have to get a diffuser for it and just make the whole thing way more aggressive.
Where you have it blacked out, where it just says the Jaguar on the back. You could even dry carbon that.
That would honestly look better. Yeah, because I don't think that looks very good in chrome, but the black it's in right now, whatever that guy painted it with, yeah.
Probably just plastic dip.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because it's on there so tough. It doesn't seem like plastic dip, but I don't know. I haven't tried picking at it too much.
Well, I felt good though. I got that hood done. I was very impressed.
Yeah.
It took me 2 tries. The first try I had to wad up because I cut it on accident and it split. It tore while I was trying to stretch it.
Oh no!
It tore, so I was pretty bummed because it went pretty far into the hood. So,
what was the previous vinyl material?
It's just some Orifal satin black. It's the same thing I have on the bumpers of the Suburban.
Okay.
And I had it on the hood, and I don't know. I was just getting tired of it. It was spotted and stained, and I tried polishing out. It didn't really do anything. It was more of a calendared vinyl instead of a high performance film. So more designed for die cuts rather than full wraps. So
sure.
This is an actual wrap. So instead of doing satin, got this nice high gloss, metallic, and then I coated it with Halo. So it looks really good. I was really impressed. But like I said, it's a very different type of film. It tends to heat a lot more than say the Avery Dennison.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So, Anthony, you had like a massive.
Yeah, you actually
you
had
did this
projects,
weekend.
man.
I did have a lot going on. So, do you want me to start in from the beginning, I guess?
Might as well.
Yeah.
So Friday night started off just pretty kind of pretty chill, pretty laid back. You know, I was gonna go to the gym, and I found out my gym was closing, so I was like, I guess I'm not going. And I was like,
Closing on Sunday.
So I said, it is what it is. And I ended up picking up that new Call of Duty. Well, I guess it's like a month old now, but the new Call of Duty. So I started playing that, right? I haven't played a video game like that in forever. So I've been kind of just getting my game back on. And Saturday morning, I woke up bright and early because I wanted to knock out some projects that day, right? So I went to the junkyard first thing in the morning, obviously practicing social distancing by there's nobody at the junkyard. So pretty much that was nice. And so I got to cruise around, check out some stuff. See if there's
Which
any
one did you
parts
go to?
The Caldwell one.
Oh.
So that one, being in 2C, has the most abundant Honda parts. It is like a Honda part central. So I was able to kind of cruise around and check things out. Unfortunately, I did not find any rare parts this time around. I was kind of bummed on that. So basically, I did that for what, I don't know, maybe a couple hours, right? And then I came home to tackle another bigger project, which was repainting this front lip that I got. So I think I explained that I picked up a front lip from a buddy for my Honda Civic Si. It's called an EM1 front lip, and it's just a little skinny painted front lip that goes on the bottom of my bumper. The fitment of this is a lot better than anything from eBay. The problem is that, it was already red, but it was just completely road rashed, right? It had been chipped, it had been scraped. It would not have looked good on the car. So I needed to repaint this. Last week I went down to the store, picked up all the supplies to repaint it the correct way. And so basically the things I picked up were a color matched can, which I'll actually tell you how that went. But basically color matched can. I picked up 2K Glamour clear coat. I had a primer, which was an all-in-one with flex additive, primer, filler, all of that. Just kind of an all-in-one spray. And then I picked up a variety of sandpapers, as well as, some tack cloths and things like that. So painting in a garage is never a clean thing. It's always messy, no matter what you do.
Is your furnace in your garage too?
In the far corner, yeah.
So then the smells also get sucked into the house.
Yeah, well, not as bad. It was not as bad as my other house that I painted. But anyways, basically what
mine sucks right in.
So I went to a local Napa paint supply. It's called something Paints, Genuine Paints, or whatever it is, by Napa. I went in there to go get this color match, right? And I walk in, older guy working at the front desk. He said, "Hey, I need to get a color matched can." He says, "Okay." He's like, "Is the car with you?" And I say, "Yeah." So this guy, just all nonchalant, calmly, grabs himself a blue shop towel, puts a little compound on it, right? Grabs his scanner, his paint scanner, and he's like, "Oh, is it out here?" And I say, "Yeah." So we start walking out there, and it didn't really hit me what was about to happen. And I'm kind of like,
"It's perfect. Don't touch it."
And I'm kind of like, why is he walking out there with this shop towel and compound? I didn't even register in my head. And then he's like, "Well, what are you trying to match?" And I'm like, "Well, the bumper, because the lip's gonna go on the bumper." So he says, "Okay." So he goes to one perfect area on the bumper, right? Keep in mind, my car was dusty because it had been raining and all that stuff and it had been dirty. He takes that compound and shop towel right to the edge of my perfect bumper and starts rubbing that in. And I'm like, oh my God, right? Like this is my nightmare. Wipes it off with a shop towel, puts the scanner on there. So anyways, that was just terrifying. He ended up getting a perfect match, though, which was really cool. So I was pretty pumped on that. It'll be worth polishing out. So
he knows what he's doing.
So he knows what he's doing. So going back, to Saturday in the garage, I started doing all the prep. So basically, I started sanding down that lip. I went straight in with 80 grit to really start mowing through it, It's just with 80 grit, you have to be careful because it can almost go too deep into the plastic sometimes. So I did 80 grip just to kind of mow it down. Then I jumped up to, I think it was 150 or 180, and I did most of the work there on removing most of the old paint. And then from, I think, 180, I think that's where I finished there, and then did my Bondo filler. And this is the first time ever doing like a real Bondo, like 2-part hardener type of thing. So I mixed it all up on a piece of cardboard, grabbed my little scraper, scraped it in, and I couldn't believe it, dude. I ended up getting that thing almost perfect. First time ever doing it, but it worked out. I didn't realize how easy Bondo was to work with. I thought it was much harder than that, but it was actually pretty easy.
Not to go too thick.
So so what I ended up doing was, like, I didn't go too thick, I didn't go too thin. I did kind of like a medium amount, right?
Yeah.
And no, you don't know?
No.
What did you say? Oh, okay, sorry. So anyway, so I did kind of like a medium amount, and then I did one more follow up to that, kind of once I saw how much it filled, and then sanded it down with, I think it was 300 grit, sanded that down. And at that point, I think I finally, I want to say, I can't remember. I finished with 400 there, then primed it, shot it with primer. Primer looked great, filled in everything it needed to fill, looked awesome. Wet sanded the primer with 600. And then after I wet sanded that, I removed all the texture, made it perfectly smooth. And then I sprayed the base coat. Base coat laid freaking flawlessly on there. It looked amazing. And then, you know, what really ties it in is the clear. The clear is what just sets it off, especially when you're using that 2K clear, because the way that it lays on the paint, especially with rattle canning, it just levels so well and just creates that really high gloss finish. And so shot the clear, let it cure. It's still been kind of curing and gassing out for the last couple of days. And I'll probably install it maybe later today, but I was super pumped. I'll probably wet sand it with 3000 here in a week or so, and then polish it out. And I think it'll look pretty freaking awesome. But then I started thinking to myself, because I'm not a body shop guy and I've never really been in a body shop setting, when a body shop is finishing out a freshly painted thing, right? And they say, okay, we finished it out. It already has a sealant on it, or already has something on it. Don't touch it. What are they putting on it that seals it? What is a body shop putting on a freshly painted, something that seals it?
They're usually not putting anything. After they clear it, the clear is usually mixed, has its hardeners, has a lot of stuff. They let it UV cure.
Yeah.
Bake it and UV cure it, and then they'll just compound and polish it. They'll wet sand it. They'll let it cure for a day or two, and they'll wet sand it, color sand it, and then they'll just usually compound and wool. 90% of the time, it's not fully finished.
Are they never putting any? Because I remember I have seen cars that have had beating properties, or like they've had some type of protection on them, and I'm wondering, were they using an all-in-one? Because if the car if the clear and the paint has to gas out, would they be sealing that in?
No, they usually just use wax, and if they don't, it's basically just naked paint, and naked paint will also sheet water or bead really well.
Yeah.
So it could just be naked paint where it's been compounded, or maybe compounded, not polished, and then just wiped with alcohol. If you take a car after you've done 2 or 3 steps to it prior to putting a protection on it and get it wet again, it's going to act like a freshly waxed surface.
Gotcha.
So it might not have anything on it.
Yeah.
They usually put wax just to help protect whatever they can, but most people don't even notice, and they'll get in their car, and take it through the car wash the next week and call it good.
Yeah.
So
but anyway, so I'll be putting that on, and the fitment is just a lot nicer because it has clips on the bottom, whereas mine only has it's attached to this. It's kind of hard to explain. But anyways, the fitment will be really good.
A real lower lip.
A genuine lip versus a knockoff. Yeah.
Okay.
So I did that project, and then Sunday woke up pretty early because Jason with the blue Evo, right? As I kind of explained before, he got in an accident a couple months ago where somebody backed into his door, so he had the whole driver's side of his car resprayed. Obviously, he had his car coated with Crystal Serum Ultra, so the professional level of the G Technic stuff, and so his car coated when they resprayed the whole thing, that removed the coating. So he had to get his car recoated. Now he had Brian Prescott over at Gearhead coat the car in the first place, and so fortunately, insurance will pay out on coating jobs and things like that. So basically, Brian said, "Hey, if we polish that thing out, or at least kind of get it, remove the old coating and kind of do a quick polish, that he'll reapply the coating, right?" And Brian's leaving. He's leaving in a week or so, or moving. He's moving in a small period of time to go to Colorado. So we needed to bust out this polishing job. So me and Jason, it was a pretty good day. It was a pretty good day of detailing. He was on the 3-inch on the Harbor Freight on the Chicago Electric version, which I forgot how freaking loud that machine is.
Oh yeah,
that thing is so loud, it's almost deafening, dude. It's pretty bad. And I was on the 15 Mark II, and what we ended up doing to remove Ultra was a Rupa's yellow pad and hyper polish. Was able to completely remove it, which was good, because the idea is that that paint can only be polished so many more times. It's you can tell it's getting thin. It's losing a lot of its texture. We're like, especially in the not freshly painted areas, we only have so much to work with. So we wanted to go with a minimally invasive technique. So yellow Rupas pads with hyper polish was able to basically remove everything that we could get off, and 3-inch on the Harbor Freighter with the orange Lake Country and hyper polish, and then we used the hybrid for getting in between all the tighter areas. But dude, it was a good day, man. We got in there, started in on it. Everything's going good. We went to the gas station, got some White Claws, got some stuff, and then went to Blaze Pizza, completely empty, nobody in there. So it was a beautiful day yesterday too. So we pulled up the lawn chairs and we're sitting on his front driveway. The cars are in the driveway, or his car's in the garage, my car's in the driveway. People are walking by, looking at us, eating pizza, drinking beer, sunbathing, and they're like, "Oh, the quarantine's looking pretty rough for you guys." And we're like, "Yeah, this is just horrible. Yeah, just a bad day, really." So yeah, it was really, really fun. So yeah, we polished it out. Everything looked really good. Car's completely naked, ready to accept the coating. And yeah, that was pretty much my weekend, man. It was busy, but I like it. I'm enjoying the stay-at-home time. I really am.
Yeah, I have a feeling
you're getting those projects done.
Yeah, I have a feeling I'm gonna have a list of projects. If this keeps going, Carly even brought up. She's like, "We need to paint something." So I'm like, okay. But yeah, no. This weekend I pressure washed my lawnmower, Dane. So
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's all clean and ready to go. So Morgan, Brandon wants to come over. He can mow my lawn too.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw.
If he's into that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, as far as other stuff that happened this weekend, the only thing I did that could really contribute to this conversation is I was going to basically try some alternative methods on the head gasket issue on the Mazda truck.
Yeah.
JB Weld.
No, my main plan was to go in and potentially replace the head or do something like that. I mean, with the amount of free time that's shaping up here, it may be a possibility. But I figured, okay, it's already not perfect, but it seems to be one of those cases where, yeah, it doesn't run great, but it runs, and it seems to want to continue to run. So if I run a little whatever through it to try and seal something and possibly get better, maybe. But I know a lot of people are like, that stuff's snake oil, whatever. There's a lot of garbage ones. A lot of it, though, is prep work, like anything. People talking about polishing compound, that's, whatever. Paint is, whatever. But in this case, I actually got a K-Seal, which is this one that's pretty old school, but it's one that you don't have to flush out your radiator and do all the other stuff for. So I thought, it's cheaper than some of the other ones. So of course that makes you think, okay, this literally might be snake oil.
So are you going to
But-
drain the oil to double check this? So you do an oil change, then
So what I did with
seal
this
in,
one,
do an oil change, put new oil in, and then see if that oil turns to butterscotch.
yeah, no, the new oil in it was turning to butterscotch when I had it in the shop there. So that had just had its oil change when they were seeing it. So that's pretty much a sign that there's definitely a leak happening inside there in the head. There's crack or warp or something going on that's letting it together. So in this case, I've got my Blue Devil radiator flush, and I'll run water through it. I'm going to clean that stuff out, and then I'm going to try sealing it using their
Casey.
the K-Seal is what I tried without doing any of that stuff.
Oh.
So it improved things a little bit, but it's only intended for like minor stuff or medium level damage. So they're like, oh, if it's a bigger job or it's something really bad, then you have to look at one of these other products, which of course are more
agree with
expensive.
Anthony.
So
just pour some
Yeah.
JB Weld in there. And,
Yeah.
fix
just
it.
seize the engine right up. I figure, you know what? I know some people are going to laugh at this because they're like, how could you think that stuff's going to work? Well, I don't necessarily think it's going to work, but
Well,
it's a step I'm willing to take before I spend $2,500 on something that's,
yeah. Well, like
Yeah.
you said, it's kind of like instead of being a full paint correction, you're just kind of adding a coat of wax to the paint.
yeah, basically that's what I'm
Hopefully
doing.
It'll be
So
better. It'll look better.
yeah, and I know it'll cause people to scream in some cases who are experts, and I totally understand it. But remember, this truck is a cheap truck. It runs a little rough. It can't get worse.
You already know you gotta do it.
stop entirely. So if it stopped entirely, I'd be like, okay, time to rebuild anyway. So that's basically the steps in between. Otherwise, I'll try some other things first. So
Yeah.
I'll clean out the crankcase, stuff like that. Put new oil in. Flush the radiator, take all the coolant out, run water through it, run the radiator flush, and then proceed to run the Blue Devil sealer in this case through it, and we'll see if anything happens. Worst case scenario, nothing happens. I wasted $60 all said and done.
Yeah.
Fine, okay, that's not the end of the world for me. At least it's something that's still cheaper than buying a new head and everything. And on the upside, if anything does get slightly fixed and it does sound a little better and things improve, well, then maybe I've solved my problem, at least for a little while, and I can continue to use it as I was planning on doing anyway. As Anthony originally suggested, hey, if it runs, even if it's not great, just run it into the ground until you do have to do something to it. So,
Right.
okay. Yeah.
So
That's the game plan.
yeah, no, I like it. So I wanted to just take this second to remind people the reason we're kind of doing this social distancing, obviously, is the fact that, yes, TRC is still open. So we are still coming into work every day because people need microfiber towels. They're technically an essential cleaning item, as well as some of our detail
Now more than usual.
Yeah, and more of our detail supplies that we carry can also be used as cleaning agents, just, in general. So we are going to be bringing in some more products. PNS is going to be sending some stuff that we're going to be adding to the storefront for this time period. I believe one is a disinfectant antiviral. They're going to be bringing in some hand sanitizer as well. And we are going to be adding those to our store as well as our Amazon store. So folks will be able to purchase those products if you need them to clean items in your home, in your car, maybe while you're at work. But we wanted you guys to understand that we know you're all home. We know that a lot of you are stuck at home, or you're in a quarantine or whatever it is.
Most states are tightened up more than Idaho is. So we're kind of on the tail end of this whole procedure. But
so some of you are fully locked down. Others are shelter at home, where you can't technically leave. You got to stay home. Boise has canceled schools for these 2 weeks, so last week and this week for now. Libraries are closed. Restaurants have been forced to close here in Boise. And they're telling people, just, if you can, stay home. The grocery stores, doctor's offices, and then all the businesses technically are open except for restaurants and bars. So
Yeah, and they're closing mostly the dine-in portion of it.
Yeah.
They're keeping a lot of takeout and stuff open.
Yeah, all the
Dude,
takeout's still available.
so Meridian bars are still
Except-
open, right?
Except for Meridian, yeah, where you guys
So
are.
I was driving through
No.
downtown Meridian. I swear to you, there's a patio bar that they have out there off of one of the streets, freaking packed. And I looked over there. I'm like,
I bet
are
it was
they
Frontier because that's where Brandon
Yeah.
and I go
Yeah.
frequently.
dude?
And
And I'm
before
like,
this
they,
whole
like,
thing happened, I got invited to go out there because he and I will go like every other week or something.
Yeah.
This time I said nope. And this was 2 weeks ago before
Dude,
it got
packed.
crazy. And I
It
was
was
just like,
packed.
that doesn't seem like the best place to meet up right now, just
No.
knowing what's going on. And
There
now
was
it's like,
probably-
bad idea.
there was probably 30 something people out on the patio, and I'm like, but like you can tell they're the people that are like, oh, we don't care.
Whatever,
Like,
I'll be fine.
Yeah. So I was like, dude, that's
I
yeah.
Well, and I
The
think
fact
that's
of the matter is
hardest part.
perfectly healthy people get it. And like Nick was saying earlier, it's kind of like smoking for 10 years over the course of a week in terms of the damage it's done to some people's lungs who are otherwise
Mhm.
perfectly healthy, like 20 and 30-year-olds. So yeah, there's a lot of people who just have the mild symptoms and then it moves on and they don't have anything particularly terrible. Maybe they're one of the lucky ones. It happens. It's not like it's a same case for everybody. But boy, some other folks who are otherwise healthy, or like an Anthony or me or Levi or Morgan, it can still get them, and you just don't know until you got it.
Well, case in point, Fraser from Woolwo's is here.
Yeah.
He landed before they closed the border.
Oh yeah, like
And
right.
Carolyn,
before.
your mom, has made him not come into the building. He's had to
He's like,
stay at
you
the
stay
Woolworths
over
building.
there.
So we technically haven't seen him for all week. He got in
Yeah.
last Sunday. He's been here for a week, but we haven't seen him.
Now
and
we
John
do have
Green-
our storefront closed.
Yeah, but John Green, our operations manager, he's back. He was in Mexico on a trip with his wife, and he is now quarantined. Carolyn told him, nope, you're staying home. And so he's stuck at home for the next 15 days. So for us, it's one of those things where, we've got technically 2 folks here that are from out of the, that have been out overseas. They aren't allowed in the building. The front door's closed. And the storefront is technically closed. The website's available, so you can put in orders, and if you're local, you can put in your order, and then you can pick it up here, just like if you're picking up food at a restaurant. But we're doing the podcast in our offices, as you can see.
Yeah, just
so this way
out of
we're
a
just
sense of responsibility.
a little bit,
you know?
and a little bit of social
The
distancing.
other thing is, as far as the business itself goes, because I know some people are probably curious, yes, it is continuing running here behind the scenes. There's still stuff getting packed and sent out. We want to make sure we can do everything we can for our employees, keep them employed, the hours and everything. Obviously, you want to keep people going because there's a lot of people in less fortunate scenarios who've been laid off, who've been put into really, really difficult situations now. People who are already in difficult situations where this just exacerbated it on a whole new level. It can be really challenging. So I just want everybody to know that here at the Rag Company, we're doing everything we can to make sure that we're taking care of our whole business.
Well, and we're practicing
essentially.
social distancing downstairs in all the workspaces. So
Yeah, so it's not like everybody's cooped together. We have a good number of people, but there's a lot of space to stretch out. So lots of different workstations have been moved further apart.
yeah, we've limited the number of people to a room. And it just didn't seem fair if Mama Hennen downstairs is telling us all to be 3 to a room, and the 4 of us go upstairs and hang out in the podcast room for an hour. We broke one of her rules. So we thought this would be the best option for that.
And she's constantly disinfecting everything. So things are getting wiped down probably 5 to 10 times over the course of the day.
Oh, yeah, just about every 2 hours she's coming through. And then
any door handle, any
she's
kind of
asking us to do the
entrance.
same. So,
Seats, keyboards, etc.
But yeah, so we just wanted to let everybody kind of know why, I know it's a little different. I know it's a little strange, but we've been working on the new, those of us that haven't been, in our offices, if we're looking for something else to do, we do have a massive new studio that we've been working on. And so we've been going over there and, spreading out, just working in the space, trying to get that ready as fast as we can because, not all of us can there's other companies that we work with that are closed. And so there's only so much work we can, do at a desk at a computer with all this other work that we have to do here as well. So we're kind of just balancing both. So it's kind of fun. It's been fun to be able to do a lot of the construction stuff this week.
Yeah.
Or last week, which was a blast. So
sorry I missed some of it due to my back, but it looks great. Like it really
Dane
looks
threw
great.
his back out last week,
Yeah.
so he was having a rough go of it. But
I have to go to the chiropractor right after this, so that'll be fun.
That'll be
But
for you.
Well, you want to make sure that you desanitize the chiropractic table and or sanitize the chiropractic table.
When I was there last,
think of how many people have put their faces in that hole.
well, here's the thing. He's taking it very seriously,
I know
fortunately. He's keeping it to 2 people in the building at a time. He's literally making people wait out in their cars in the parking lot.
Smart.
And he's wiping down everything. Like, he's gone above and beyond to make sure. It's because a lot of his clients are actually elderly. So he's got to look out for that because they're the most, vulnerable among us. So,
well, something that's pretty close that I was actually just checking out. Very interesting. So apparently yesterday evening, right, over in Salt Lake, right, Salt Lake and most of Utah has pretty much been shut down. But they did have 1,600 LDS missionaries return home from missions. And not only was it that many people, all of their families gathered in the parking structure of that. And it is insane. You have to see this. They covered it. There's so many people in one area that it is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
And so
it was one of those things where it's very kudos to the Mormon Church for going, hey, all the missionaries, we want to bring you home.
That's great. Yeah.
All our elderly missionaries, we want to bring you home. They did a big mass, bringing everybody back. But they still packed so many people, and families did their normal, we're back from your mission, all right.
Not really thinking about it.
Where they all give hugs and kisses. And it was oh, that's not good either. So
guarantee you, even if it's, of course it won't be all of them, but a large percentage of them will have to deal with this in some manner.
Yeah, the grandmas and stuff that they all brought back are going to get.
That's
nobody wants to feel
great.
I'm the one who did grandma in, but you got to look out for that. So just be responsible, people. Be responsible.
A nightmare. God.
Look out for your elders. Yeah.
Anthony, where'd you find that picture at? I can share my screen.
You can here, I'll actually just show you here. I'm actually going to flip this around here, and I'll actually bring everybody in with this. So you can see right here. I'm going to play this for you.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, that is
what a nightmare. And then
they're like, oh, we're all staying away from the people walking by, but we're all gathered next to each other.
Dude.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I love this. It basically says, I think the number one comment is, wow, I don't even know what to say. Saddened by the lack of respect that is being shown. Such bad examples for your children and our entire state. It is they are getting absolutely roasted here.
Well,
but
in fairness, I mean, most news websites, if you look at the comment section on any news website on their videos, on Facebook, it ain't pretty.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yikes.
Okay. Well, that's a fun bit of trivia. That's not fun at all.
Stay out of Utah, everybody. Stay out of Utah. Do not
Even if
go
there's
there.
a nice Toyota Tacoma down there, I'm not going to go look at it anytime soon.
Not worth it. Yeah.
No.
Jeez. Crazy, man.
Yeah, that's wild.
Well, so basically just wanted to give people an idea why we're doing this, why it looks a little different, sounds a little different, because folks who are listening to the audio version probably had no clue what was going on. They just thought, it sounds kind of degraded from usual. But this is the way we're going to do this, at least for the time being, to continue being able to bring you the content. If you don't like the audio, we apologize, but this is the best we're going to be able to do for a while to avoid putting ourselves in bad situations. But I think it sounds pretty decent, all things considered. I don't know what's going on with Anthony's phone, but hey, when does anybody? So
yeah,
probably because it's on 3% battery.
Oh, hey, well, I'm at 89 right now. I'm feeling pretty good.
Whoa,
that never happens.
Get his charger.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I think this is probably the point where we can wrap up. But I do want to tell folks, thank you so much to everybody recently who has subscribed to the Rag Company podcast channel, as well as the Rag Company channel on YouTube. We really appreciate you subscribing, but the best way to subscribe is not just to hit the subscribe button, hitting that bell. Ever since YouTube did this whole thing where even if you're subscribed, you don't get all the notifications now, you got to click the bell and say you want the notifications. Otherwise, you don't hear about stuff when we put it out there. So I don't know what the subscribe button is good for anymore, other than just racking up numbers and showing people you have a group of people who want to listen to you, but that's kind of the extent of it. So anyway, make sure you click that bell when you do it.
Yeah.
As well as, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, the Surgeon General is saying that this week is probably going to be very bad. It's going to get a lot worse. So those of you that can stay home, stay home. Those of you that can limit the amount of exposure to others, please do that. And wash your hands.
And remember, like when things get worse, it's because the people who are getting worse now were affected 2 weeks ago, you know, in a lot of cases. So this stuff, there's a delay and then it pops. So basically what I've heard from a lot of people is symptoms seem mild at first, but then they can drastically change till it feels like, yeah, you just got, you know, the worst strep throat ever and a bunch of other stuff. It's pretty nasty.
I was proud to see, I went by Albertson's convenience store. They stopped doing fountain drinks for fountain and coffee and all that. They totally stopped that.
Because it's kind of communal and a lot of people touch it.
So when I went in this morning, I had on a pair of rubber gloves that I had Clorox wiped. And then I walked in and bought my soda at the Jacksons because they aren't doing refills. They're doing new cups. I want to bring it in there. You know,
sure.
Yeah.
So, you don't know where that's been.
But the point is I was trying to do my part by Clorox wiping my gloves, grabbing a new cup, Clorox wiping the cup when I got in my car.
I think,
Anthony, go talk about steering wheels for a minute.
I was reading some report of like how dirty certain things are, and like you know, it was something kind of like I want to say that it was like your toilet seat, right? You know, most people think of like a toilet seat's pretty dirty, but it was like some number, and this is not accurate.
Toilet seat's actually quite clean in comparison.
But like, I think it says that your steering wheel is 10,000 times more dirty than your toilet seat or something like that. But a gas pump is like 50,000 times more dirty than your toilet seat, right? It was something like, it's a number, something like that, but it was just very interesting. So basically, if you're pumping gas, grab something, put a glove on, pump the gas, take the glove off, and get back in your car.
I did see guys
take the paper towel for cleaning your windshield. Take that paper towel and
Morgan did.
Grab that.
Yeah.
But I did see a guy with gloves on pumping gas the other day. Actually, yesterday afternoon when I drove by the gas station, he had his blue rubber glove on. So,
and I told you guys this morning, I was driving in traffic next to a guy in a little fishbowl Toyota Echo, and they have these really long cuff pink kitchen gloves with like white accents. They're very frilly. He just looked like he really knew what he wanted, and he was just driving like that. Very nervous looking guy. Yeah.
So
anyway,
crazy.
Pretty much the extent of what I got to offer here. But I think we've all kind of established that this is going to be the new normal for a while. So hope you guys don't mind the change in scenery, but I think this will be kind of fun and different for a little bit. Not fun, but just, something interesting, different way to approach it. But this way we can keep bringing you the podcast. We can even bring you the Q&As. We'll see how that's going to go using the Sling or something along those lines. So and we'll have to play it by ear and see what happens, but hopefully we'll be able to make that happen without a hitch. Any rate, I think I got to wrap this thing up. So we can get going to the chiropractor. You guys have anything left you want to add?
Nope, I'm good.
Negative.
Anthony? All right.
Take it home, Dane.
All right. So, as I said, make sure you are subscribed and hit the bell on YouTube, on both our YouTube channels, as well as following us on Spotify. I'm always trying to increase our followers on Spotify because that's a great platform to keep track of everything if you don't like using iTunes or Android or Google Play Store or whatever else you want to use. But we're on all those places if very important, if you do notice that our episodes on your given platform appear to be old and you're kind of wondering like, oh, why do I see a new episode on the YouTube channel, but when I go to my, podcast app, it looks old, double check, because some of the places that our podcast has been pushed to by our old library, when we changed libraries, it no longer went to those places. So let me know, please send me a message to the Rag Company Podcast on Instagram, or send an email to dane@theragcompany.com, and I'll follow up on those to try and get our RSS feed from our new host moved over there. I want to make sure people are taken care of.
Oh.
So we obviously don't know all the places that these things are happening at. So I want to know about it, because that's the only way I'm going to be able to help. With that said, though, that's us saying adios.
See ya.
Yeah.